They say some places are built to protect people from the outside world. But what if one place was built to protect the world from what's inside? Hidden deep within the forest of the Czech Republic stand Houska Castle, a medieval structure shrouded in silence, mystery, and fear. But this wasn't a home, nor a fortress. According to legend, it was built to seal something ancient, something evil. A pit older than memory, a prison for things no man should ever see. And over time, the legend only grew darker. In this video, we will uncover the unsettling history, the chilling testimonies, and the strange energy of Houska Castle, one of Europe's most haunted and secretive places. So, take a seat, because here comes the history. A castle without purpose. Most castles are built with clear intent: to protect, to command, to guard trade routes or towns. They are placed on hilltops to spot approaching enemies, or near rivers to control commerce. Each one was a statement of power, a symbol of control over the land and its people. But Houska? It's out of place, out of time. Built in the mid-13th century, likely around 1253 to 1278, during the reign of King Otakar II of Bohemia, Houska was commissioned under mysterious circumstances. Otakar, a powerful ruler known for territorial expansion and strengthening the Bohemian state, had no clear reason to build a stronghold in such an isolated location. Unlike other castles of the period, Houska lacked the essential features of a military base. It had no external defenses, no source of water, and no fortifications pointing outward. Instead, its architecture turns inward. The castle seems to fold in on itself, a design that baffles military historians. Most windows are false, offering no view and no light. The structure wasn't made for comfort or strategy. It feels like it was made to imprison something or someone. Even the surrounding geography is peculiar. The castle sits atop a limestone cliff in a remote forested region of the Czech countryside, miles from any major road or medieval trade route. Why choose such an accessible site? What was so important about this peculiar piece of land? According to local lore, the answer lies in the ground itself. Long before the foundation stones were laid, the area had a reputation, not for beauty, but for dread. Locals avoided it. Animals, it was said, refused to grave nearby. And at the heart of it all was a strange anomaly, a massive gaping hole in the earth. They say the site was cursed, that the ground beneath it wasn't just unstable, it was unholy. And the deeper you go into its foundations, the more you feel it. The corridors narrow, light fades, walls grow colder. A silence falls that isn't peace, it's warning. And somewhere below, something waits. The pit that whispered. Long before mortar touched stone, the land where Houska now stands was already cursed. The pit wasn't just feared, it was avoided like a wound in the world. Locals describe it as breathing, its breath rising in sulfurous guts that made the trees bend away unnaturally. Birds refused to nest nearby, and animals that strayed too close were found days later, if at all, mangled and twisted in ways no predator could explain. Some said the pit was a remnant of the old gods, or worse, a scar from the fall of a rebellious angel. Others claimed it was a gate to the underworld, one of the few places where the fabric between realms had been torn. Priests debated, shamans warned, but no one dared to go near it for long. When condemned men were lowered into the darkness, the hope would twist, as if unseen hands were pulling it sideways. The prisoners come back not just terrified, but broken. One had clawed at his own face so violently that his eyes were nearly gone. Another refused food and speech. dying within days while whispering to something in the corner of his cell. Word of the pit reached ears of nobles, mystics, and eventually the church. But their decision wasn't to close it with stone, it was to trap whatever lay below. And that's when the building of Houska began. Stone and prayer. Rather than exorcise the land or fill the pit, the church took a different path. A path that suggests fear, not faith was guiding them. They ordered the construction of a chapel directly above the chasm, believing the constant presence of a sacred rite might suppress what was trying to rise. But this wasn't a typical chapel. Beneath the veneer of saints and crosses was something far more arcane. Symbols hidden in the stonework didn't match standard Christian iconography. Hebrew, pagan, and even Enochian markings were etched into the corners, only visible in candlelight. Some believed the chapel wasn't just for prayer, it was for containment. The frescoes are haunting, angels are shown weeping, their wings torn. Saints aren't triumphant, they are afraid. And the central figure, oddly, isn't Christ or the Virgin Mary, but a strange hybrid being with no clear biblical reference. Art historians still argue over what it represents. A warning, or perhaps a depiction of what lies below. The entire layout of the castle seems focused inward, as if they designed not to keep people out, but to keep something in. The more you examine the architecture, the more it feels like a box, a sealed box, built not in hope, but in desperation. It's easy to dismiss stories like these: old stones, faded frescoes, and forgotten rituals, but every piece of this place feels intentional, like a puzzle left behind, or a warning right in the architecture. And that raises a question. What do you think this castle was really built to contain? Share a theory in the comments. Echoes from the dark. Even sealed beneath layers of stone, the pit remains restless. Locals say you can still hear it. Not always, just sometimes. When the wind dies, when the air feels heavier than it should. Some story speaks of monks who entered the chapel to pray overnight, only to be found the next morning with vacant expressions, unable to form words. One tried to speak and bleed from his eyes. Another was found writing a single phrase over and over again. It sees through stone. During a harsh winter, a soldier assigned to the castle was found locked inside the bell tower. No key fit the lock, and no one admitted to sealing it. When they broke it open, they found him alive, but changed. He had removed his own eyes with a spoon, left beside him in a bowl of ice. Villagers who dared to enter the forest at night claimed to see ghostly processions, entire groups of hooded figures walking silently toward the castle, only to vanish mid-step. Others report phantom horses, their hides redless, screaming as they gallop in circles and then burst into ash. To this day, local elders won't say the castle's name after sunset. They call it that place, and cross themselves before continuing. The Nazis arrive. By the time the Nazis arrived in 1940s, Houska legend was already centuries old. But to Heinrich Himmler and the Annenbier, the Nazi Occult Research Division, such legends were maps. They believed ancient sites contained real energy, that rituals performed on conversion points could awaken knowledge or power. Under the guise of military occupation, the Nazis turned Houska into an experiment. Locals saw trucks hauling strange equipment into the courtyard. Geologists were brought in, but no reports were made public. Even stranger, Dogs brought by the soldiers refused to enter the chapel. Witnesses from nearby villages reported strange smells, like burning metal and blood, coming from the castle at night. Some said they saw a green beam of light shoot into the sky once, then never again. Others swore that screams echoed from deep underground, followed by silence so complete it felt unnatural. When the Allies advanced, the Nazis left in a hurry. What they were doing inside Houska remains unknown. Most documents were torched, but one local priest claimed to have intercepted a journal page mentioning the door, and the phrase, "It opens only for those who cannot return." The haunting today. Today, Houska Castle stands like a wound that never healed. Tourists come for curiosity, but they leave with unease. Even the most skeptical admit to a strange pressure in the air, like standing on the edge of something vast and unseen. Guides warn visitors not to linger near the sealed pit. Some reports headaches, nausea. One woman fainted, claimed she saw a figure moving just beneath the stone floor. Her camera captured only blur, but the timestamp shows the image was taken at 3:33 a.m., that so-called witching hour. Electronic devices malfunction constantly inside. Thermal cameras detect cold spots that move, independent of wind or draft. One paranormal teen reported a whispering voice, repeating the word, "home," but no one else was speaking. Locals still avoid it after dark. The staff doesn't sleep there. And the chapel, it's mostly empty. But if you sit in the pews long enough, some say you can hear breathing. Not yours, not anyone else. Just something waiting. A gate that stays shut. The deeper you dig into history of Houska Castle, the more it refuses to reveal. It is as if the land itself conspires to keep its secret buried. Historians call it an anomaly. Architects call it illogical. Priests bless it and then avoid it. No definitive answer was ever been agreed upon. And maybe that's the point. Some things weren't made to be understood. They were made to be sealed. The pit was never filled, only covered. The chapel still stands above it, like a cork in a bottle of poison. And while time has eroded the walls, and the world has changed, that one decision, to build over, not around, remains untouched. Is Houska a portal? A prison? A warning? Maybe the silence surrounding it isn't ignorance. Maybe it's protection. Because every culture has stories of gates. To hell, to other dimensions, to ancient power that should never be disturbed. And if Houska is one of them, then keeping it shut might be the only thing standing between us, and whatever stares back from the dark. If this story pulled you in, and you want more hidden chapters from history, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Got a strange event, secret project, or forgotten place you think we should cover next? Drop it in the comments. I'm always reading. Thanks for watching, and just as you took the seat, now you take the story with you. Bye!